Okay, so I just saw the new Death Note trailer and I had a lot of feelings that could not be contained in me writing them down because I would not be able to accurately convey my feelings through just 18,000 exclamation points and gifs of people throwing their computer out the window because that's what I literally wanted to do with it. So, okay, let's talk about this then. Good thing. Ryuk's design is perfect. Like, I have literally nothing bad to say about it. It is spot on. I love how they keep him mostly in shadows and you can just see his eyes glowing. I love his spiky things that come out. I love just the general appearance of him, and his voice is great. Like, they couldn't have picked anybody better for Ryuk. I have nothing bad to say about him. I think that was perfect casting. I think the special effects team or whoever is in charge of that, they did a really good job just making him look as good as they did. That looks great. And if that could be the level of excitement that I had for the rest of the movie, that would be fantastic. However, that is not the case. So, Ryuk is great. Ryuk looks amazing. But now it's time to talk about everything else. So, okay, we'll start with the new trailer first. So I just saw the new trailer, which I don't know when it comes out because I'm very behind on a lot of things, but I just saw the one where Ryuk and Light meet for the first time. And I have a lot to say about it. So first of all, why is Light Yagami sitting on the floor about to cry like a little bitch baby? Can somebody explain that to me? Because I have never seen Light Yagami ever act like that. And he's cowering on the floor, and then he stands up and smacks himself in the face and is like, oh, it's just a dream. There's an 8-foot tall motherfucking monster or demon or whatever. And I'm like, since when does Light talk like that? First of all. Second of all, smacking yourself in the face is something I would do, not something Light would do. He is always much more mature and calm and cool and collected. He would think about it in a rational way instead of just resorting to physical violence. That's not the kind of person that he is. You have to take into account someone's personality. Not everybody's going to slap themselves in the face. And Light is the kind of person who wouldn't do that. It's just not in his nature. It's not in his character. So that immediately already gets me all mad because that's just not something he would do. And again, I have to say, the actor that they picked for Light, I'm not going to say anything bad about the actor. I don't know who this kid is. I'm sure he's a great actor, and I'm sure that, you know, he is really excited to play this role. I'm not going to say anything bad about him. However, I will say he is not the right choice for Light Yagami, and I'll tell you why. Because he looks too innocent, too fresh-faced, too young, and that's not who Light is. Yes, Light is a high school student. Yes, he was not always psychotic, and he was not always overtaken with his mission to be God. But even before he got the Death Note, he still was calm, cool, collected, the perfect student. He had a lot of people looked up to him and respected him. He was the perfect son, the perfect student. He was the perfect everything. Everyone wanted to be this guy. Everybody wanted to be his friend. They all wanted to date him. He was that guy he's not a social outcast. He was like a social butterfly, except he didn't want to be a social butterfly. He did it because he knew that's what was expected of him, but he didn't do it because, oh, let me make as many friends as possible. It was more like, let me figure out how many allies I can make because I might need them further down the line kind of thing. Which makes him an interesting character. Because even before he has any kind of power, before he has the Death Note, that's still kind of how he's thinking. He is thinking, you know, I'm going to be the perfect kid because this is what is expected of me, and then I'm going to go farther in life because of it. Like, you know, I have my goal. I want to be the police chief. I want to become a detective and everything. And he was going to make that. He was going to do that. He was going to get his goal, and he was going to grease all the right wheels to get what he wanted. This kid doesn't look like he's that kind of character. He looks very doe-eyed, fresh-faced, like... And he's sitting on the table, kind of hunched over in the other trailer, like kind of hunched over, like they make those loner kids look like in movies. And again, it's just a trailer, we don't know yet, but if they make him a loner, I'm gonna be really pissed off because it's always one of the stipulations that loners grow up to be murderers. Like, you always hear about, oh, this kid got bullied in school and that's why they brought out a sawed-off shotgun into class. that's not always the case. Sometimes you can have a lot of pressure built down on you to be perfect, and you could snap like that. And it doesn't have to be because you're a loner kid. Popular kids can become murderers too. And it's even easier for someone who is like a perfect person to become a murderer because you would never expect it. And that is what makes it terrifying and interesting. Because you look at this guy and he's got like a 4.0 grade point average, and he's always, you know, helping out the community and helping out his neighbors, and people are like, he's a murderer, and you're like, no, he's not. That's impossible. He would never do something like that, which is why it works. It works as his cover, and it makes him easier to hide in plain sight because no one's going to assume it's him, except for Elle, because he knows better. But that... Okay, so getting back to the new trailer, because, God, I could go on this tangent all day, and we don't have time for that shit. It's already been 5 minutes, and I haven't even said anything. So in the new trailer, after he's done, like, being a little bitch baby over there, Ryuk comes in. Perfect! Okay, so Ryuk comes in, and he's like, hey, you know, take a look outside and see what's going on out here in your dream or whatever. And this girl's getting bullied, and she's getting, like, beat up or whatever, which is just like in the manga. Fine, that's great, you know? Ooh, Light's gonna finally realize there's an injustice in the world. He's gonna take action, and he's gonna, you know, he's gonna take it upon himself to, this is why he wants the Death Note. This is why, this is his calling. And he's like, don't you want to help her? And he's like, he just doesn't say anything. Like, and then Ryuk hands him the book, and he takes the book, and he's like, come on, you can help her, you know? All you have to do is write down Kenny's name. And he's like, and see what happens. And he's like, I don't have a pen. And Ryuk's like, click, click, here you go. And he's like, oh, it's a good thing you had a pen. And then he writes down the name, and he's like, come on, take it a step further. Write down how. And he writes down decapitation. And that whole thing bothered me because it was like Light didn't make that decision by himself. He had this 8-foot-tall monster towering over him in the shadows, which could be kind of scary. So he's got like this weird Shinigami peer pressure to write down this kid's name in the book, and he doesn't want to do it. He tried to get out of it like 3 times, and he's like, he finally did it because Ryuk is staring at him. So like if you had a demon staring at you, telling you to do something, you'd probably do it because you'd be scared, and you would be like, oh, I have to do this. Otherwise, you know, he's going to eat me, or he's going to take my soul, or whatever. So he does it basically because Ryuk forced him to. And that is not the Light Yagami we all came for. In the manga, he finds the Death Note. He tries it out. He's like, oh shit, was that really me? He tries it out again. And when he realizes he is in control of this, he fills up 5 pages before Ryuk even shows up. He took it upon himself to kill hundreds of murderers, and then when Ryuk actually shows up, he kind of falls out of his chair a little, and then he regains his composure, and he's like, so what, are you like here to take my soul? And Ryuk's like, no, why do I care? Which is another downgrade in the trailer. Ryuk is like facilitating all of this. Here's the book, here's a pen, don't you want to take on some vengeance? Doesn't she deserve justice? Ryuk doesn't care. He's in it for the lulz. He's in it for the apples. He doesn't care if Light Yagami kills people. He doesn't care if Light Yagami gets caught. He is not the plot bringer. He is not this. He's not the one here to push people into getting the story moving here. He dropped his Death Note, and then without any prompting from him, Light Yagami picked it up, filled it up with 5 pages, and that was that. That was Light's decision. It was his own thinking. Hey, you know what? This world is crap. There's a lot of bad people. There's rapists, murderers. You know, I'm going to get rid of all these people, and we're going to have good, honest people, and they're going to be able to live without fear. That was Light's main goal, which is a good goal to have. He does go about it the incorrect way, but his thought process when he started was noble and just. And then he got a little bit crazy and wanted to become God of the world. But when he started, it was a good idea. I mean, you know, he went into it with good intentions, but, you know, the road to hell and all that. My biggest problem with the new trailer is that it portrays Ryuk as being a giant bully. He's like, here is the Death Note, write in it, and then I will stare at you until you do so. you've completely taken all accountability away from Light. It's not his decision anymore. It's not his problem. He was forced into it. There's always somebody else he can blame instead of being like, yeah, I made this decision all by myself. You know what? And I believe in it. I believe that I am doing the right thing. In the manga, even at the very end, Light still believes that he was doing the right thing. He never doubts himself that he is maybe wrong. He thinks he's doing the right thing. In his mind, this is the only way he can do it. So in the other trailer, when he's like, we're not the good guys anymore. What? What do you mean you're not the good guys anymore? What could possibly have changed? So, oh, that makes me so mad because Light never second-guessed himself. He knew he was right. He knew what he was doing was the way to go about it, and everybody else was his enemy. That is what made him interesting, because he was very strong in his convictions, and he didn't have any doubt. He was never like, you know what, maybe this isn't the right thing to do. No, he's like, you know what, we're gonna get rid of these fucking assholes, and we're gonna be good, and I'm gonna be the god of this world. Was the way he went about it right? No, he is a murderer, and maybe he just shouldn't be doing the things. But he felt he was right. Those were his decisions. Never once did he ever question himself. These fucking commercials are making him look like a bitch baby. And that's not the Light Yagami that we all came for. We did not come for bitch baby. We came for badass, mind games, and twisted morals that make us look inside ourselves and say, hey, would we have made the same decisions? Was Light kind of right? Or was he so wrong and L was absolutely right? Is there a gray area? Is there maybe who gets to decide what's right or wrong? Like, that is what the beauty of the show was, is that it made you think about all these different things, and it just... So these movies are dumbing it down, and I understand that you can't take a TV show and sum it up into a movie. You're gonna lose a lot in translation because there's just, it's a different medium. There's a lot less time taken into it. I understand that. Take the main plot and put it over into the movie. Take out all of the side quests and everything else. Take out a lot of character development. Fine. But at its core, it should still be Death Note. So even if you take out a lot of the stuff that goes on, his character should still be absolute. The one thing of this story that should still remain the same is Light Yagami's conviction that what he's doing is right. Because if he doesn't believe that what he's doing is right, why is he fighting with L? How is that confrontation ever going to make any sense in the movie? L says, you're a murderer, I'm going to take you into justice, and, you know, that's going to be that, because you're a murderer. And Light says, no, 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 I am the god of this new world, I'm right, so I'm going to take you out so I can keep doing what needs to be done. The two of them fight it out. They're constantly in battle because they both think that they're right. If you got little bitch baby over here and he's going, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe what I'm doing isn't the right decision. And then L comes along and he's like, yeah, what you're doing is definitely the wrong decision. What's to stop this Light from just turning himself in? Or throwing the book away? Or going off and living happily ever after with his new girlfriend, Misa. Don't think that didn't piss me off too. In the show, all he ever does is manipulate and use Misa. Because Light Yagami isn't capable of love. You have to have way too much trust, and you have to have all that stuff, and Light doesn't have it. I firmly believe that he is an asexual, aromantic, and he doesn't care about falling in love or having sex. That doesn't further any of the goals that he has. He doesn't give a shit about any of that stuff. He's not motivated by his penis. So to see him kissing very passionately Misa in the other trailer really pissed me off, because if he's doing it to manipulate her, that's fine. I won't know until the movie starts. But if he's doing it because he genuinely likes her, and the fact that he is holding her hand and pulling her through the streets throughout most of the first trailer leads me to believe that they're gonna shoot in some bullshit romance subplot, which doesn't need to be there, because one of the greatest things about the original is how they show the relationship between Misa and Light. Is it a good relationship? Absolutely not. It's manipulative, it is abusive, and it's terrible. But that's the whole point, is we have to show the darker sides of humanity. These are not demons. These are not monsters who are possessed. These are human beings making these terrible decisions, because we are humans at our nature. We have very complex emotions. Some of us are bad. Some of us make terrible decisions. Light Yagami is one of those people. He feels like what he's doing is right and he's doing it for the greater good, but then he doesn't care if the end justifies the means. He will manipulate Misa. He will tell her he loves her when he doesn't. He will kiss her to get her to do what he wants her to do. He will live with her so that he has complete control over her. He knows where she is. She can't get herself in trouble or show anybody or tell anybody that he is Kira. In the new one, it's like they're best friends. It is honestly like he takes her into the library and he's like, we can do better, or like we can change the world, or whatever it is he says in there. And I'm like, so she's complicit in this. Like, she is your wingman. Like, you went to her immediately? No. The whole point is that she is, even if she wasn't as stupid as people think that she is, even if she was smart, one of the things about Misa is that she was completely blinded by her love for light. She let it dictate her actions. So this new Misa, who is like questioning what he does, and he went to her of his own free will, Light wouldn't do that, because now he has an accomplice. He has somebody who, if they don't do things right, can rat him out, or they can get caught. Light is too smart to ever get caught, or so he thinks. That's why he does everything by himself, because when he does have to deal with Misa, he's constantly cleaning up her mess, because he's like, oh my God, they're going to catch you with this, and you're going to do that, and you know, you were seen here, and this and that. He's constantly having to like double check to make sure that everything is right, so they're not going to link the Death Note back to them. In this one, he's just like, hey yo, best friend, let's go out and kill some people. And she's like, what? And I'm like, no, please, stop it. Stop it. Okay, so just the complete bastardization of Light Yagami's character, and the fact that his name is Light Turner now, all of it, just, I'm going to call him Bitch Baby from now on whenever I have to talk about him. There's going to be Light Yagami, who is the good one from the manga and or the anime, and there's going to be Bitch Baby, who is from the Death Note movie. So that's all. I mean, there's more, but that's it. That's enough. This video is way too long already, but I just had so many feelings and I didn't want to type them all down because I'm lazy. So that's enough talking about the Bitch Baby. Hopefully we're done with it.